gentlemen, how shall we destroy the otter?
We should confuse him with withheld game mechanics and absolute patronizing arrogance.
No, we break him with pointless violence that offers no counterplay or thought. I have giant pecs.
Hardly. We cash in on a beloved franchise to millions. That might be an interesting idea, but it's marred by warring concepts and no playtesting.
We make a wonderful game. Fun, historically accurate, engaging.
But make it so long and tedious to play that you never feel like you're going anywhere and it's prone to glitches and crashes where you lose hours of gameplay because you can't save.
Why don't we simply make a game that focuses on split-perfect precision to the point where you can't access half the game, despite him wanting to love it?
Really? I thought we could just do a dating sim that offends him at every level. It is so basic, any horny teen could probably make it.
Kill him!
Who are you?
No, we make him play my game.
I mean, he's hardly been wrong before.
M+Ms.
And we all know he's sadistic. Just look at our henchmen.
I'm Batman.
Riddle me this. What do we lose if he's wrong?
I'm Batman.
Who let you in here?
I am the knight.
Batman Arkham Asylum was released in 2009, and I'm just going to open with this. I love Batman's villains. The Joker, Harley Quinn, Penguin, Bane, Scarecrow. They're unique and interesting characters that make adventures with them so much fun in a way that I don't find most villains to be in superhero comics. Now, with that said, I hate Batman. I find him to be a useless, pretentious, uninteresting character that is truly responsible for the hundreds of deaths in Gotham City. I don't even find him to be a hero, just a sick, deranged child with a hero complex who is actively destroying the city that he's in while trying to be big about it. So then why does this game make me love playing as Batman? The game opens with Batman driving the Joker back to the asylum after one of his usual crime sprees, but something seems off. He accepted his defeat far too easily. Sure enough, as soon as they're fully inside, the Joker escapes, trapping Batman himself inside the asylum where he honestly belongs, and thus the longest night of Batman's life begins. Now, I need to take an aside to talk about how pleased I am they got the greatest Joker there has ever been for this game, Luke Skywalker.
Why should I care? Because now there's a teeny little bit of me in you too.
Mark Hamill himself reprises his role for this game, and it actually brings a lot to the character. It's pretty difficult to explain the story of this game since it goes down like every comic book story in the long run. Contrived Thing A will let you get Contrived Thing B to unlock Contrived Thing C to cure Contrived Thing G while overcoming Contrived Things M through X. What makes the game really work is the cast of characters and how each one plays off of Batman. The Joker is a master at sending henchmen and other villains in your path and teasing and belittling both you and his men all the while. Some of the best levels in the game are when you're given a big area with all kinds of environmental hazards and small areas to hide in with giant gargoyles along the ceiling. The room will be full of guards and you have to take them all out without being spotted, since Batman's greatest weakness apparently begins and ends with bullets. Nothing feels as awesome as taking out a guard with a glide kick, then pulling out an inverted takedown on the first guy to arrive to see what happened. You swing away to another gargoyle and use your sonic batarang to take out the third one. You really do feel like you are the...
I'm the knight.
Yeah, that. Sometimes your movements can be a little bit janky and unresponsive, and that can take away from feeling like a badass hero of the night. I definitely meant to just hang off the ledge. There was no reason to pull myself up or drop down, and this strong beast of a man cannot climb a wall unless it is short, and aerial climbing of objects is far beyond him. Steel beams with easy handholds? Those can't even be grappled to. Don't be ridiculous. And vines can't be climbed over or around. There's just no way to get past those. But when the game is set up to let you feel like a stealthy badass, as your detective vision lets you watch the thugs get more and more scared until they're jumping at shadows and screaming like little girls and shooting the thin air at the slightest provocation, you'll feel so cool. Harley will follow you through most of the game, constantly closing off areas, detonating traps, and sending in henchmen against you on her Mr. J's orders. She's not very effective, but in that outfit, how dangerous she is really isn't what we're paying attention to. The same is true of Ivy. While she actually gets a boss fight and changes the layout of the game for a while, she isn't really that dangerous. Even her boss fight isn't threatening. Walk back and forth till she's open. Repeat until win. And yet her boss is the fourth least disappointing in the game. Almost every other fight that passes for a boss is a giant mutated human. As they charge, you press the quick batarang button and dive out of the way. They'll smash blindly into the wall, and that's how you damage them. It feels scary and tense the first time. It feels like you've grown and can really fight back the second time. By the fifth time, you've gotten sick of seeing them. The fight against Killer Croc takes no time to start sucking. He's been built up for several hours before you have to go down to his lair. He's this unstoppable beast that not even the Batman can fight back against. So, you enter his lair and you see each step resonating through the water, giving your position away to the Croc. The atmosphere is tense, creepy, and you're afraid to even run. But eventually, no matter how careful you are, Croc will find you. So how do you deal with this unstoppable? Yeah, that's it. He has two attacks. One where he pops up and you throw a batarang at his collar and take him out in one hit. The other where you press a button and run for a little bit to outrun him. He'll never pop up right under you, so as long as you keep the batarang at the ready, since the quick shot doesn't seem to work for this one fight, you'll be fine. As soon as you realize that, this level goes from tense and scary to one long pointless slog to walk from one end of a cave system to the other and back. The camera is more dangerous to you than Killer Croc is. The camera doesn't really like it when you're trying to work your way back to the entrance, so trying to run while it spins around to a horrible angle that you can't fix because you're already using both hands to run will do its best to get you to run off the narrow planks and into the water. This fight took a potentially amazing villain and turned them into a complete joke. But hey, at least there's no way the fights could get worse. In direct contrast, the Scarecrow levels are amazing. At various points throughout the story, the Master of Fear will drag you into his world without warning. It isn't even always apparent that you've left the main story of the game as you keep playing through. There's no obvious change, just every now and then Batman will cough. But slowly, the world falls apart more and more as you slip more and more into the madness. But the best moment reaches right out of the game and grabs onto you. I'm not going to spoil it, so if you have not played this game, jump ahead to the time code. I know I don't usually do this halfway through the game, and I don't most of the time give my opinion before the end of it, although I seem to have been lately. If you haven't played this game, go out, play this game. If you're even passingly into superheroes, you need to do it. And if you're going to play this game, you can't hear this spoiler. Alright, with them gone, you're just walking down the hallway. Just another part of the level that you cleared out a while ago as you backtrack through to get to a new area. So you know something might jump you, but it isn't likely to do much. If you're really observant, you might notice Batman cough briefly, suggesting that maybe there's a Scarecrow section coming up. But even then, you're not ready for... No! My game crashed! What's going on? And now the opening cutscene's playing again? Is everything just completely What's happening? Joker's driving the car. As the cutscene plays out, you realize Scarecrow's fear gas has hit you, causing a redo of the very first cutscene of the game to play out, only with each character inverted. The Warden is Scarface the puppet. Joker and Harley are bringing in the Batman. The doctor who went to inspect Joker in the opening is, of course, replaced by Scarecrow himself. Once it wears off, you laugh to yourself. You take enjoyment from the creativity on the screen. But in that one moment, your heart stopped. Admit it, we were all caught the first time we played the game. Even some people who had it spoiled for them still weren't ready when it happened and freaked out. It's that convincing. How often can a game do that? How often can it reach right through the screen and grip your heart in your real life? It's easily the best moment of the entire game. Even once you've realized that Scarecrow is gassing Batman, you still need to actually confront him. He fights you in a pseudo 2D level where you have to platform your way through the area without letting him see you. It breaks up the feeling of the rest of the game without actually changing the mechanics and still feeling right at home with the feel of the main game. Now that's how you do mandatory variety. Of course, there is one more villain following you through every moment of the game, the Riddler. He left various challenges for you all over the map, ranging from noticing elements in the world, to solving riddles related to Batman characters, to lining up invisible paint to form a question mark, to simply picking up giant green trophies. How finding a big, glowing green question mark proves who is or isn't smarter, I'll never know. This challenge is a lot of fun, even though you might write it off as just a scavenger hunt. Even though it doesn't matter at all in the grand scheme of things, you really want to find all the Riddler's challenges. Part of that might be that he constantly taunts you as you play, though. Even when you solve genuinely difficult challenges, he makes snide comments and makes it feel like you didn't do anything special, and you want to try harder just to wipe that smirk off his face. This would be hard, except it's not hard to find one specific secret, the Riddler's map. He left us a map. Sure, it's vague about where each secret is, but it makes it much easier to locate everything. So, with contrived things L and E attained, we're close to ending the game. Actually, that's not even close to true. We never catch up to the Joker. We never stop his plans. We are constantly playing catch-up. He wants to use the new Titan formula to create an army of warriors stronger than Bane. We destroy the formula, but too late, he's already made enough to be a threat to the city. We try to find a formula to reverse its effects and neutralize it, but too late, there's not enough of that made to actually do anything. We keep trying to rescue people, but we're not really allowed to rescue them until Joker's already done with them. He's in control the entire time, despite Batman always trying to get ahead. For once, unlike seemingly any other superhero story I can think of, Batman doesn't bring anything to the Joker. Instead, the Joker decides that everything is ready for the final fight and calls you to him. He tells you where he'll be and even opens the doors wide for you, his henchmen clapping and welcoming you to the final showdown he set up before you were even ready to try to hunt him down. We're on the Joker's time schedule, and we'll have to defeat him at his own clever game. He even has the guts to actually sit right in front of us, pretending to be a statue, and we have no idea. The Joker has finally outsmarted us, so what does he do with it? Well, first he sends another wave of basic thugs and 2 giant dudes at you. How threatening? But then he gets serious. He goes to shoot Commissioner Gordon with the Titan Serum, and instead, Batman takes the shot and somehow refuses to transform. How does that even work? You can't suppress a physiological reaction based off of a psychological response. This isn't Scarecrow's fear gas. It just doesn't work like that. I can't not get a cold because I have a strong will. I can't not react to some drug just simply because I don't want to and that'd be inconvenient. Imagine that. I'm taking crystal meth, but I'm not going to get high off of it because that would be inconvenient. Fine, now Joker's another step ahead of us. He could easily attack us while we're weak, and he shoots himself with the Titan? The final boss fight is with a gigantic hulking monster who we just avoid, yank down, and punch him in the face a few times. The Joker, the pinnacle of maniacal intelligence, who was a step ahead of us this entire game and brought us to our final boss fight on his terms, is one of the greatest villains in history, turned into a monster that we just beat up to win and that creates blatantly obvious openings. I have no idea how they did it, but they made a boss fight more disappointing than Killer Croc. And that's the note they go out on. You punch the Joker in the face with the explosive gel in your hand, it knocks him out, but you're magically fine, and we see Batman set out again to stop Two-Face because the night isn't over. Roll credits. For such an atmospheric, wonderful game that made me actually enjoy being a superhero that I actively hate, they ruined the entire experience at the end. That isn't the Joker. But with that said, The rest of the game is amazing. I know I said it earlier, but go out and get this game. The weakness in Crocslayer and the ending that absolutely ruins everything that the game was about isn't enough to dampen how much fun this game is in every other area. And there is one secret I had to use the internet to find. One of the walls in the warden's office is able to be bombed. It looks no different from any other wall. It doesn't react to being bombed, and it requires not one bomb charge like every other wall in the game, or even two. It requires 3 charges placed across the wall at fairly specific points. If you turn on detective vision, the wall just looks like a solid wall. So I really question how anyone was ever supposed to, or ever did, find this hidden room. But if you follow the instructions online and bomb the wall multiple times because the first one apparently never works, you'll find the secret hidden office of Warden Sharp. It looks like he's setting up for some kind of Arkham City?